Education and controversial proposed health standards is a focus of Governor Pete Ricketts' latest round of town halls planned for this week in Grand Island and Norfolk. Governor Ricketts joining us now to talk about that issue. Thank you so much for taking the time. What is the message you hope to get through these town halls?
Well, I think it's important that parents get involved with regard to these sex education standards because the Department of Education does not report to me. And so this is something the State Board of Education is doing. They don't need to do. It's not required. It's not in statute. In fact, the legislature has chosen several times in the past not to require standards around sex education. And so parents really need to get involved and read the standards and share their feedback with the State Board of Education. And overwhelmingly, parents such as myself have been concerned and very deeply troubled about what is in these sex education standards because they are injecting non-scientific political ideas. It's age inappropriate. And some of these things are just things that parents should be teaching their kids and not having the schools being involved. And so that's why it's so important for parents to get involved. And that's what we'll be talking about at the town hall from 11 to noon on Thursday is the standards and what parents can do to let the State Board of Education know how they feel.
It seems like you, throughout the pandemic, have had a good working relationship with the education department. Have you reached out to them or talked with them at all about this?
Yeah, I've had a conversation with Commissioner Bloomstead about this. But again, this is really being driven by the State Board of Education, which is an elected body of folks from around the state that, again, doesn't report to me. So they're their own elected body. And that's why, again, it's so important for parents to be able to weigh in. Parents have done that at several of their board meetings recently, including last couple that have been in Kearney. There's another board meeting coming up August 6th at 9 a.m. The location has not been determined. It's probably going to be in Lincoln. And that's another opportunity for parents to be able to, talk directly with the State Board of Education members and weigh in on this. They can also go to education.ne.gov and see the standards and read them there and also provide feedback. They can also provide, there's an email that they can go to send directly into the Department of Education as well. So there's a number of ways that parents can weigh in, but it's really important that parents get engaged on this.
Well, people in favor of these new standards say they protect LGBTQ kids by promoting acceptance and teaching young kids the names for body parts that could help them report sexual abuse. What do you say to those people?
Well, again, these are things that should be handled by parents and school boards locally with regard to the type of content that's being taught. And some of the stuff that's being taught is just really outrageous with regard to sexualizing our children, very age inappropriate. And that's why I've called on the State Board of Education to scrap these standards. This is something that really needs to be handled at a local level with parents being involved with school boards to determine what is the appropriate content. And in fact, if you look at who put together these standards, mainstream groups like the Nebraska Catholic Conference were left out of creating these standards, even though they educate like 10% of the kids in our state. And political activist groups were involved in it. So I think that's why you see that some of these standards are just inappropriate.
Wouldn't some of the religious groups, though, be part of private schools and they would set their own anyway?
Well, but I think that it also just goes to, for example, the Nebraska Catholic Conference does teach about 10% of the kids in our state. And the types of standards that we adopt in our public schools also have an impact on our private schools as well. So hearing their voice, I think, would be important. But regardless, these standards really sexualize our children. I was talking to one pediatrician who said it's grooming 101. They're just completely inappropriate.
All right. This is the second controversial issue you've toured the state about, 30 by 30, also talking to people about that, almost resembling campaign tours a little bit. Are you eyeing a run for another office?
No, this is about bad policy that's being promulgated, whether it's being promulgated by the State Board of Education or the Biden administration. These are both two topics that have come out really since the beginning of the new year when these groups have decided to push forward this bad policy. And again, there are policy areas where we need to have people at the grassroots level involved. Like we just talked about how parents need to be involved for the State Board of Education. And with the 30 by 30 policy of the Biden administration, we need people to know how they can protect themselves against the overreach of the federal government. So these are just bad policy, and we're out there trying to tell people what they can do to protect themselves.
All right, let's talk prisons. 2 Nebraska prisons now under emergency staffing procedures. How does the state attract workers to these jobs?
Yeah, one of the things we've been doing, for example, is we offer a $10,000 signing bonus for anybody who signs on. And we're also offering a $10,000 referral bonus for people who bring in new teammates to our team. But I think what you're seeing is that we experience the same challenges that many businesses across the state are seeing, where we've got record low unemployment. We haven't had unemployment this low since 1999. We're in the marketplace with everybody else trying to find talent. And it's just a challenge for all businesses, including us in the Department of Corrections. So we're going to be taking a look at what we can do to improve the way that we're recruiting. And hopefully, as people get back to work, things are getting back to normal, we'll be able to start recruiting more teammates, into the Department of Corrections to help us keep the public safe.
Yeah, the ACLU just came out with a statement saying this shows another prison is just not the answer to corrections issues. They say the state can't staff the prisons they do have. What do you think about that?
Well, the answer is just the opposite of what the ACLU is saying. By replacing the Nebraska State Penitentiary with a modern facility, we'll actually be able to do a better job of recruiting teammates. I've been through this in the private sector. When you get a new office space, everybody's morale goes up. They're brand new, modern facilities. People want to work in modern facilities. We'll actually improve the safety of our teammates by having a modern facility. So this is another case with the ACLU. It's just flat wrong. They're driven by a political agenda and don't understand how the real world works.
All right, Governor, anything else you want our viewers to know today?
Just that we encourage people to show up at the town halls. We're going to have the one in Grand Island on Thursday from 11 to noon at the Ramada Midtown Conference Center. And then I'll be in Nebraska City later that day from 3 to 4 p.m. at Steinhardt Lodge. So please take the opportunity to come hear more about the sex education standards.
Thanks so much for talking with us.
Great, thank you.